or should we just begin with today's session? Yeah. So good evening, everyone. So let's just share my screen. Let me know, class, if you could see my screen. Yeah. So yes, let's begin with today's topic. So class, today I'll be covering how do we use Bootstrap in our HTML programs using Grid and Plex. And let's just begin with the agenda. So our agenda for today would be like I'll tell you what Bootstrap is, what are the versions for Bootstrap, and how do we download Bootstrap from the official site, and how do we, if we're not willing to download, then how do we pursue with the CDNs and then containers in Bootstrap, and then why do we actually use Bootstrap in HTML, hyperlinks, and then grid and Plex. Hyperlinks is like how do we use like a hyperlink program in Bootstrap. So yeah. So, like, what Bootstrap is? So, Bootstrap is the most popular CSS framework for developing responsive and mobile-first websites. So, class, like, if you feel that my pace is a bit fast, you can just anytime stop me, or if you need some more clarity on some of the concepts, you can always pitch in between, so that it's an interactive session. Yeah. So Bootstrap, like like how do we have versions in other programming languages? So in Bootstrap also we have versions wherein we have B3, B4, and B5 version. Wherein Bootstrap 5 is the latest version available, and Bootstrap is a free front end framework for faster and easier web development. And there's nothing like Bootstrap is a big thing. So how do we use Bootstrap is we just include the CDNs from the web page, from the official website, and we just include in our normal HTML and CSS programs. And like Bootstrap also gives you the ability to create responsive designs. So like, and herein if I'm saying responsive is what do I actually mean? So so class, if you just see any kind of web page, like if you're viewing a web page in our phone, if you see the pixels, it would be this much. And if you try to view the same image, and if you take the screenshot, and if you try to see the same image in a wider pixel view, you see that there is a clarity which is mostly lost, or there are pixels which are widened, and the clarity which is there on your image is mostly lost. So how do we achieve it in case of websites? So for example, if you see Flipkart on a phone, and if you see Flipkart um, on a laptop or on a tablet on a wider view, there is some there the layout which is there on the website is different. So that is what is adjusted through Bootstrap. And today I'll let you know that like how do we achieve that using Grid, and how do we achieve that using Flex. So this is what is meant if I'm telling is Bootstrap is responsive. And there are some of the advantages is there if we're using Bootstrap. So first is easy to use. Like anybody who is having a basic knowledge of HTML, CSS, or a basic knowledge of JavaScript can use Bootstrap easily. And then responsive features, as I told you, Bootstrap's responsive CSS adjusts to phones, tablets, and desktops. It is a mobile first approach. It has browser compatibilities. So for example, if I'm like if I want to use Bootstrap, you just have to simply write up your program or include the CDNs in your normal HTML program, and then you can run it through Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari, or Opera, anything you can use. And there's one more sideline there, which is there, is like if you want to use Bootstrap on IE and 11 down version, so you could not use Bootstrap 5 in that case. You have to use BS4 and BS3 in that case, because that is not supported on Internet Explorer 11 version. Yeah. So, like as I told you, like to use Bootstrap, there is only two ways. We have to mainly download Bootstrap by going on their application, like on the official website, which is getbootstrap.com, or we have to use the content delivery network, which is the mentioned one. I'll just show you how it happens. So, if I just go Bootstrap, so if you just see getbootstrap.com, this is the official website which is there, from where we download the CDNs and which support the CDNs, and from where you can get in. So if you see this official page, maybe you can just make a note, or this is just the first search which appears mostly. So yeah, so if you see, this is the current version which is available, v5.1.3. So if you want to run Bootstrap programs, maybe you can download it from here, or if you do not want to download it, or if you want to run it through like normally as we do HTML and CSS, then in that case what you can do is you can include this CDNs which are available. So you just have to copy this CDNs from here, and then you can include in the header section of your HTML program. I hope this is clear, class, because this is the most important thing in Bootstrap, CDNs. Am I clear, class, with this? Class, I'm not sure if this session is being recorded or not, but yeah, there are similar sessions on the page. I guess on the YouTube page for Lonnovate, which was being recorded previously, and then you can take a look into that video maybe if this is not recorded. Yeah. So like you can just download Bootstrap from here, or you can just include the CDNs. I'll just show you when I'll be doing labs for all of you. So you can just include this, copy this CDNs, and maybe the first CDN is whenever you're using a CSS program and you want to include this, or CSS or HTML program, and the second one is with JavaScript bundle with Popper. But both of them works even if that program is not CSS. You can use the second CDN and then run it. But the main thing is you just have to include this two CDNs to run your JavaScript program. So yeah, I hope this is clear. And if you just want this CDNs, I'll just share it with you, or you can just get it from the official page. And then like other like if you see in C++ or Java, we have containers. So similarly herein also we have containers for like, and we use containers in Bootstrap to provide margin, padding, alignment, and to our HTML elements. And mainly like it is one of the most basic layout element in Bootstrap which we use. And mainly like we'll be using containers when we're using grid, default grid system. So yeah. Okay, and then let's just see what is grid is. Okay, so Bootstrap grid is used for layout, specifically responsive layout, and grid is made up of grouping of rows and columns here. Okay, and herein if I'm saying rows and columns is, what do I say? If it is a horizontal line, that means it is a row. If it is a vertical line, then that is a column. Okay, and a grid is divided into 12 parts. If you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So whenever you're using grid class, we just have to make sure that the total column count is always 12 in our program. After we include the CDNs in the header part, what we have to do is, like if I want to use grid, I have to make sure that the total column count in my program is 12. So Bootstrap grid system allows up to 12 columns across the page. And if you want to use 12 columns individually, you can group the columns together to create a wider column. Okay. So if I'm saying like layout, so if you just consider my screen, this particular slide of my presentation. So if I just want to explain you how this is done, so like you can just consider this as 1, this as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and if let's just say if I just want to display mango, orange and apple with 444 equal ratio, 4 threes are 12, right? So if I want to display, how it will be displayed here? So if I have to give in call as, and if I just want to make my breakpoint as 4, so how it will happen? So herein my mango will appear, and like it will always take equal distributions. Like it just depends on what is my grouping which I have done. If I'm taking 12 12, then it like 4 4, then it will just include like 4 4 sections of my screen, and then it will display therein. So here it will display mango. Here like you can just partition it, and then you can just see. Okay, and if I just divide it equally 6 6, so it will just on the on my right, it will it will just whatever you have given on in your class, it will appear that and on my left it will appear in the other code. And if I can also just choose in this way, like 5 5 10, 5 5 10, and then plus 2 2. So like 5 5 it will be on the like this much, this will be 5, this will be 5, no, this will be 5, this will be 5, and the remaining section of like it will just make sure that it is dividing in that way, whatever ratio you're giving. And always class, we just have to make sure that whenever you're using grid, we just have to make sure that the column or the layout which we are fixing it should be sum for 12. Also, I guess I did not try, but let's just try if there's any error, or if there's anything which happens if we are exceeding the count, or if we are just lowering the count which is not to 12. Yeah, but this is the basic standard. If I want to use Bootstrap grid in any HTML program, we just have to make sure that this is the concept which we are following. So also let's just see an example for grid. So like in my Bootstrap grid system, it has 4 classes, and these classes are mainly known as breakpoints. So like if 4 breakpoints which are available by default, but I guess there is 2 more, which is XL and then XSL, extra large and extra large. So these are the default ones which are available and which we use. So the first one is XS, for which we use for phone screens, which is 768 pixel wide. The second one is SM, which we used for tablets and medium size, smaller size screens, which is available. And the pixel size is also 768 pixel wide, equal to or greater than, you can just consider. Here it was less than 768, and here in it is equal to or greater than. Okay, and then we have MD for small laptops, wherein screen size is equal to or greater than 992 pixels wide. And then next we have LG for laptops and desktops, which is mainly equal to or greater than 1200 pixels wide. And the classes above can be combined to create more dynamic, flexible layouts. Okay, let me just show an example so that you understand. So herein, if you see, like if I was mentioning before, this is a breakpoint which I have used. I have used SM. And as I told you, like if I want to use grid in my programs, what I have to make sure is my call should always be 12 4 4 4. This is an example which I have just extracted from Notepad and pasted here to make sure that it is understandable. When I'll do the labs, will come sure. And then the last theory topic before we go to running the labs is flex. So what is flex is like flex is similar to grid, but it does not have 12 parts as we have seen here, and it was actually very complicated. Okay, let's just go back. So how did we see, like in grid we had this 12 sections, 12 columns, and then that we have to divide if we want to fix our layout screen. So that case, it's not there in flex. Flex is just using of pre-built bootstrap classes which are already there, and then we just define the structure with structure and positioning. So what happens in Flex is like you like there will be some predefined classes which are present in Bootstrap, and that we will use it to, like, if you want to write and if you want to use Flex in Bootstrap. So what it actually is like whenever you are using, like, let me just show you an example. So, like, for example, if I just want to like how I was doing example 1, example 2, example 3. So herein I don't have to do anything. No 12, no divisioning of my layout into sections, nothing. You just have to use the predefined classes which are there in Bootstrap. So whenever you're using Bootstrap program, what we have to write is d hyphen flex, and this is my this is what is CSS element which I'm putting to my Flex element. So for example, paragraph 3 and background should be secondary and text should be white. This is what I'm putting as normal. So whenever you're using Flex, even I can put black text as black. So these are some of the predefined classes which are available in Flex, which you can easily, I guess, it's available on internet. This is an advantage of using grid. So you don't have to always be cautious of making sure it's 12 and then dividing our table or dividing Flex over layout into all those things. Yeah, and use Flex class to control layout of Bootstrap for components. And Flex utility can be used to manage the layout, alignment, grid, column, navigation. It is like mainly grid also does all the thing, but the only difference is that 12 part and the positioning part which was there in grid, but over Flex, this is an advantage of Flex over grid. And this was the sample example for Flex which I had. We just have to use the keyword Flex, and then the rest thing which will follow, like whatever element, whatever thing, whatever styling you want to give to the element in your web page, you can just follow using that. So let's just go ahead. And like hyperlink is just a normal topic which we see in HTML. So today what extra we'll do is we'll just like write an HTML write a Bootstrap program, and therein we'll try to include an hyperlink to our page. And what is hyperlink is like you can click on the link and jump to another document or jump to that link, and whenever you move the mouse over the link, the mouse will allow and the mouse arrow will turn into a little, like you'll be able to click on the link and then you can open that web page. And this is just the syntax for using link, wherein a defines a tag. I hope everyone is aware of this because this is very normal, where a tag defines the hyperlink, and href attribute specifies the URL of my um, of whatever document I want to switch into, or whatever web page I want to jump into. So any questions, class, on the theory part before we move to the demonstrations? Labs for move. Okay. So the first program which I'll do is like how do we include a hyperlink in your Bootstrap program. So this is this structure which I have made because my okay. And also let me just make it to a wider font. Okay, so like if we are writing an HTML program, we always have to begin with doc type as HTML and then HTML in Angular brackets. And just because my Angular brackets does not work in the beginning of a notepad, so I have just made this structure. Okay, and then as I told you, class, like whenever we are using a Bootstrap program, what is the first thing we have to do is we have to load the CDNs to our notepad. And class, like today I'll just use simple notepad, like as in the people who are aware, I like mainly I run my programs on a normal notepad in spite of using notepad plus plus or visual basic. So yeah, let's just load the CDNs from the website. So what we will do is we'll copy the CDNs in my program. Just have to copy this, and I just have to copy the other 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 CDN in my program. So I have included both the CDNs. If you can see here, these are the two CDNs which I have included in my program. And then what I will do is, now I'll just close my header, close the header section. And then now we can just move ahead and then write the body section of the program. Okay. So let me just give it a header program. And let's just see example to add links using Bootstrap. Okay. And then let's just end the header. And then, as I told you, like to use hyperlink, what we have to use a attribute, okay, a href is equal to whatever link I just want to go. So if I want to go to getbootstrap.com, so we will include this link in my web page, in my program, and then let's just write this is my link, okay, and then my will end a tag, okay, and then let's end the body section, and then let's end the HTML. Okay. So example 11.html, with that I am saving it. So example, okay, so if you, as you can see, like there's errors, and this is, if I just click on the link, it will open the Bootstrap page. I hope this example is clear, class. Am I clear to everyone? Any doubts, anything? Okay. I assume this silence as the concepts are clear. Okay. So like as I told you, like this was the program to use hyperlinks using Bootstrap. Okay. Now I'll show you like how do we use grid using Bootstrap. Okay. So as I told you, like every time we will be writing in the body section. Okay. So let's just remove this part. Okay, and then herein what I'll do is, in the body section of my program, um if I want to use grid, first in what I have to do is example to use grid using Bootstrap. Okay. So what I have to do here is, like, first I have to make a class which first I have to use a container if whenever I'm using grid. Okay. So div class is equal to container, and whenever I'm using container, I have to use this keyword container, container, and then I have to go, and then as I told you, we have to use rows and columns which counts up to 12. Okay. So I am declaring a class, div class row, and inside my row what I will do is I have to make a column. Okay. Div class is equal to all sm, and then let's see say it as 5. And inside my column, whatever I want to put, I can put. Let's see, I have put in H2, and then I'm writing here mango, and then slash header, and then similarly I have to close the div, and then similarly I have to make write other columns also. I have to put in data to other columns. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this much, and then I will paste in here. Okay, so 5, 5, 10 is 15. So the last one, let's just put in as 2. Okay, slash div, and then one more div should be there. One more. After apple, there should be one, and after mango, there is one close in mango. Okay, let's just rename it as orange. Okay, and then let's just have closing for 3 divs. One more div should be there. Okay. And then let's just try running the code. So as I told you, like how was my division? It was like uh, 5, 5, right? So 5 is in this section, then the other 5 is in this section, and the rest 2 it is divided into this way. Let's just change the ratios and see what happens. Let's just delete this last one. And do it equally 6 and then 6. So you can see, like, if you can see, this is my first part of the screen and the other part is in here. And my screen is equally divided into 12 layouts, 12 columns. Any doubts, class, in grid program? Okay, let me just explain it once. So whenever you're writing your program using grid, what we have to first do is to load the CDNs which are there on the official website. So in my header section of the program, what I've done is I have included this two CDNs which were available on the official website, and this is the second CDN available. And yeah, and then if I want to use, like, what I have done is, like, in the body section of my program, I have used a breakpoint which is used in grid. And what was my breakpoint was, like, I have used SM. Okay, and then in that column which I have declared, which is of breakpoint SM, what I have used written there is mango. Whatever content you want to put in there, I have just put in that content. And like, I have, like, since we know that we have to make it a count of 12, in the other column, what I have written using the breakpoint SM again, I have written orange. And then I just ran my program, which gave me this output, which divided my screen equally from here. From here, it is to my left, it is one part, to my right, it is other part. Okay, so this is done. And then what we are pending is with flex. I guess I had a program for flex also. So if you see here, similarly in the flex program, what I have done is, like, I have I just like, in the header section of my program, what I did is I just loaded a CDN I loaded my CDN, okay, and then after loading my CDN, I have closed the header part, and what I have declared is like I have just declared a container, and how, like as I told you in my PPT, like there are a lot of classes available, inbuilt and predefined classes available in Bootstrap. So I have again used this class wherein I'm writing my where my back BG is secondary and my text is white. Okay, so let's just run this program also. And what I have given is like as I showed you in grid program. Anyways, like I was mentioning the size of the columns, I was mentioning rows, all those things. So here in using flex, we can just ignore all those stuff, and then we just have to declare, I was mentioning our class, and the keyword which we use whenever we are declaring flex is d hyphen flex. Okay, and then let's run the program. Yeah, if you can see, my BG was secondary and my text is white. So this is how we use, and like it is not not similar to the output which we got in grid. In grid, what I got is like in like it was divided equally, like whatever was the ratio I gave to my in my program, it was dividing all the elements into that section into in that way. But in flex, it will just display the layout normally. There will be no partitioning, there will be no uh, there will be no division of my screen, and there will be it would be normal. It would be normal in flex if we just compare. You can just see both the outputs how it appears. Okay. Mm, and I guess that's it. I have covered an example for grid, I have covered an example for how do we use links, and I have covered an example of Bootstrap. Yeah, any doubts class in any of the topics I covered today, grid, flex, or how do we add grid, and how do we add Bootstrap or like flex in your programs? Let me just give you the official website so that you guys are aware. So I have pasted the link in the chat window, and I'll also copy the CDNs if by chance anybody is not getting it. Yeah. Any doubts, class, in any of the topics which I covered today? Okay, I assume that all the things are clear, and like you'll get your assignments class from your coordinators. And in case if you have any doubts, you can always reach out to me anytime, and I'll be happy to help all of you. Thank you, class. Have a very good evening, all of you. Take care. Bye bye.